I'm your host for today, Allegra Zukowitz. And on today's Top 5, we have police break up identity theft ring, at least 200 victims in Utah, protest over bill banning vape flavors in Utah State Legislature, Operation Underground Railroad appoints new CEO, what is the Be a Little Too Kind nonprofit, businesses in Sugar House are bracing for 2100 South Project Reconstruction. But before we get to our headlines, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and today's episode is brought to you by Utah Stories Magazine. Did you know for just $3 a month, you can have Utah Stories print magazine delivered right to your door? Utah Stories has been in print for nearly 20 years, and the reason people still love reading it on paper is that it's a very unique, fun, and tangible way to experience the world around you. Screens might be taking over our consciousness, but print media will never die. Why? Because print offers a way to connect you in a real-world manner. Let's not undermine our real-world communities, believing that somehow online communities should replace them. Utah Stories is your connection to the real world. All right, let's dive into our first headline and story. Police break up identity theft ring, at least 200 victims in Utah. Police arrested 19 people on Tuesday connected to an identity theft ring with at least 200 Utah victims. Sandy Police Sergeant Greg Moffitt said the investigation began as possible drug activity in an apartment in Sandy. Then as the investigation went on, officers issued search warrants on the property and a fraud ring was found. It was basically just a fraud ring, Moffitt said to KSL. It's basically two apartments in this apartment complex that weren't being used as residences. They were being used as headquarters for operation. It's basically how I would explain it. According to the police, officers recovered drugs, as well as a large amount of mail, forms of identification, checks, and tax documents. W-2 forms believed to have been stolen from the mail and from vehicle burglaries across the state, including Carbon, Emory, Summit, and Washington counties. Alrighty, headline number 2, protest over bill banning vape flavors in the Utah State Legislature. A large crowd of people gathered at the Utah State Capitol shouting, "We vape, we vote." The crowd was protesting a bill that will restrict vapes from being sold in Utah unless they are FDA approved. Another part of the bill includes only having vape products in mint, menthol, and tobacco flavorings. Similar laws have been passed in cities and states in California. The flavoring law is to prohibit children from being attracted to vaping with flavors such as peach or watermelon. Senator Jennifer Plum, who sponsored the bill, said, "I think one of the things that's missed in this message is how important it is to protect our youth and our young folks from nicotine dependence," she told Fox 13 News on Tuesday. This bill does not take away Utahns' ability to vape. It does remove flavored vapes, which are 80% of what children like to vape. Alrighty, moving on to story number 3. Operation Underground Railroad appoints a new CEO. Operation Underground Railroad, who has been receiving backlash due to its former CEO, Tim Ballard, is appointing a new CEO, Tammy Lee, who served earlier in her career on the White House Interagency Task Force to combat trafficking in persons. She told ABC4.com that she heard about the opening for a CEO through LinkedIn. "It's been a very fast process, but through the process, I had to get the opportunity to know the people in Salt Lake City and the organization, and I couldn't be more thrilled to be joining." Lee told ABC4 that preventing exploitation and trafficking is a passion for her, and she referred to the opportunity to work as CEO of OUR as a calling. "I am honored to join the team at OUR, who have made it their life's work to rescue and care for victims of human trafficking and provide a pathway to a bright new future," Lee said. "I'm confident OUR best days are still ahead." Alrighty, moving on to story number 4. What is the Be a Little Too Kind nonprofit? During the pandemic, Jessica Lowe found her passion for cooking. She signed up for a course at Park City Culinary Institute, and from there she turned herself into a chef for the homeless. Jessica shops, cooks, and delivers hot meals and sack lunches to people who live in tents and cardboard boxes and underpasses throughout Salt Lake Valley. That's where her nonprofit Be a Little Too Kind began. It's 2 years later, and Be a Little Too Kind has a whole team behind Jessica. Quote, "I'm not trying to end homelessness or force anything to change," end quote, Jessica says to Deseret News. Quote, "I just want them to know that they have worth and they're not forgotten. I also want them to know that the meals and other items are donated by other people who aren't forgetting them." Alrighty, moving on to story number 5. Businesses in Sugar House are bracing for 2100 South project reconstruction. Reconstruction projects will start in Sugar House on 2100 South in March, according to Mayor Aaron Mendenhall. The 2100 South project team says the project will construct the road from 700 to 1300 East. It's sort of like a necessary evil, Salt Lake Brewing Company brand manager Rick Seven said to ABC4. Seven's job also covers Wasatch Brew Pub in Sugar House located on 2100 South. He said last summer they felt the effects of the construction along South Highland Drive. Quote, some businesses are leaving, some businesses are wondering how they're going to feed their family, he said. Kimmy Eklund is the owner of Kimmy's Chop and Oyster House, one of the businesses that left. Her restaurant was located along South Highland Drive for nearly a decade. Eklund said to ABC4 last summer's construction took a toll, and in the past year, her business revenue decreased about 55%. So after 9.5 years, she moved her restaurant. Quote, I found this new location in Holiday, end quote, she said. I found a lot of clientele. Both Seven and Eklund said they recognize the need for construction and even acknowledge that it leads to good things. We do hope it to be positive, Seven said. Sugar House itself is a great location. Alrighty, moving on to the question of the day. What do you think about the homeless issues in Salt Lake City? Please comment down below. And then moving on to the adventure of the day, Utah Stories is giving away tickets to Michael Now and the Motet at the Stateroom in the Commonwealth on this Friday, February 23rd. So please comment down below if you would like to win some tickets to these super fun concerts at these super cool venues. And then to wrap up our show for today, thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, if you like this content and you want to engage to a greater degree with your local community, go out and subscribe to either Utah Stories print magazine or our free digital newsletter. From utahstories.com, you can subscribe to our newsletter that offers all of the stories that we are covering in-house. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.